Where does Barrett Brooks fall on this opening matchup versus the Detroit Lions?
Wait. Well, here it is then. Jody, I'm on the same boat as you are. Yes, Hard Knocks makes.
Send it in. Send it in.
Don't miss you, Staley, Jody. That's all.
Stop with the. Was Deuce the coach of the Lions last year? Was he their running back coach when Eagles beat him 44-6? Did I miss something? Yeah. Did he miss that week? Did he have monkeypox? Appreciate you being part of Birds 365, a Thursday edition. Jeff Curran for John McMullen, who's down with the Eagles in Miami. We're glad that Barrett Brooks is still back here in Philadelphia. You'll catch him later today on Sports Take, and they'll have him doing something or other on NBC Sports Philly, whether it be Barrett on the Birds or Babbling Brooks. They got a lot of different names for when they put him
Well, Jody, I'm going to tell you this. Jody, Jeff, I'm just hoping I don't get a stomach virus for being on the show with you guys, so it doesn't help me, doesn't hurt me from going into, my show later on. So, I mean, that seems to be what's going on.
Don't think that can be done streaming. And by the way,
if it can, I might stop streaming.
I think we'll all be perfectly fine, as will the Eagles, although they're missing out on joint practice today, Barrett.
Yes.
I asked this of Jeff, so I'm putting the number on you. 1 hour over under length of Eagles practice by themselves today with the Dolphins. Which way are you going, over under?
I'm going with the under. I am going with the under. I don't think they go out there and give a complete pass. Number one, they're in a place that they can't be fully secure, that there won't be eyes on their practice. That's number one. Number two, we know how this coaching staff is. They play on Saturdays, so they want to make sure their guys are in the most optimal position to be out there and be healthy. So, yeah, I think it's 58 minutes, like the first practice they had, 58 minutes.
Barrett, here's one for you. I've never seen a team do this where you have back-to-back joint practices on the road like they did. I mean, the Eagles were here for literally a New York minute. They basically came home, went to NovaCare for, I don't even know if they practiced, and then went out. And, I mean, do you ever see Nick Sirianni try to do this again? Because this hasn't been optimal for them.
No, I mean, I was surprised that they did it that way, back-to-back like that, especially considering that, even you heard what Tua said, Miami's quarterback. He said that, if you look at it, they may not have gotten the Eagles' best. They were practicing, played a game, flew back home, packed up, flew back out again, and was practicing the very next day. That's a lot of traveling time and, time being in the air. And it's just not good, for them as as far as health, going into a situation like that. They're not going to be at their best. So that might be the reason why they're now 6-1 as opposed to being 7-0 with these, practice squad, practice they have.
Do you think they outsmarted themselves here, Barrett? Because they had the capability, if they wanted to do joint practice with the Jets. That was their opening preseason opponent. They, of course, had done it last year. Maybe they didn't want to do it 2 years in a row. Maybe the Jets didn't want to get on. I'd rather get on a air-conditioned bus and come down the turnpike than get on a plane and have to go somewhere. Why do you think it broke the way that it did? They did it for 2 straight road games.
I think that is it. I think they kind of outsmarted themselves. I mean, they did get good work yesterday. And sometimes, just like Mike Tyson said, you don't know what you're going to do until you get hit in the mouth. That's kind of what happened. They got hit in the mouth. It kind of reality check. And I really wanted today to be a day where I could see them react to it. How are they going to, how's the coaching staff, how are the players going to react to, all right, we got our butt kicked the day before. What are we going to do now? I wanted to see their reaction. So we won't get that reaction. But, it's just a maturing process of a team that's supposed to be good, got beat up. Now I want to see what they were going to do to respond to that.
Do you think that changes the way the preseason game is now played, since they didn't get that?
Yep.
I don't think the starters will play like you would. We wouldn't have saw Darius Slay today for sure. They would have practiced like, the starters would have, went in as business as usual. But there's no way you see Jalen Hurts or anybody else that's a starter going into this game. In fact, I don't think they'll play Pascal. Pascal played a lot the last game. I don't even think we'll see him in the game. I don't think we'll see Epps, Harris, none of those guys either that, I think need a little work. We still won't see those guys either. This team is very cautious in how they approach. The health is big to them. So I doubt seriously if we would have saw we'll see those guys this Saturday night at all.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Barrett. One thing I'm looking forward to watching Saturday is Deion Kane and a lot of these fringe guys on this 53-man. I mean, who are you specifically going to be watching this weekend?
Oh, he's definitely an individual that I'm going to be looking at. Deion Kane has shown that he should be on this team. He has outplayed Jalen Reagor. It's just by position that Reagor was a first-round draft choice. All things being equal, it should be Kane's job. And, looking at that, position room anyways, you got Hightower, you got Ward, you got a lot of players that, like Ward has helped this team out, a lot, since he's been in the Eagles uniform, so he's a position I'm looking at. I'm going to look at the outside linebacker position. At this point, you've got, Kyron Johnson and Pat Johnson. Right now, Pat Johnson is winning the war as far as his production on the field. He's playing a lot better. So, I think he's winning by, because he's played better than Kyron, who's a draft choice also. There's a lot of key battles. I also wanted to see how, the Kobe Dean and Davis would play. I didn't think that I don't think they showed up the last game like I expected them to. I want to see more out of those two. Big Davis, you've heard his name kind of fade a little bit. Not saying that he's not doing anything, but I haven't heard his name as much as I did beginning the camp, the first preseason game. Kobe Dean also, is he playing up to expectations of a third-round pick? Those guys, that's a battle I wanted to see, open up. Because, say what you want to say, Stuart Bradley is good enough to make this team, if not just being a special teams captain. He should be on the team. We still don't have a locked-in starter at the return game. Is it going to be Covey? Who else is going to be returning punts, kickoff return? There are so many spots that still need to be, worked out. And Howie Roseman, it's going to be tough for Howie Roseman this year. Howie really has to go out there, and he's going to cut some good players to get down to this 53-man roster. So I'm anxious to see. Even the quarterback position. You going with Sennett or are you going with, with Strong?
Or you just go two and just hope one goes on the practice squad.
Right. So it's going to be a very interesting cut down next Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday, right?
Yep,
Tuesday. Correct.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting cut down.
All right, Barrett, I want to take you into your wheelhouse, which, of course, is the offensive line. The Eagles have chosen this preseason to not work out Andre Dillard at any position other than left tackle. Now, he has jumped over and played right tackle before, poorly. They apparently didn't want to revisit that again. He is just a left tackle. His lack of flexibility probably hurts his value to both the Eagles and or any team that would be thinking about inquiring him, but at least he's sticking with a position where he's best suited to play. And I think he is, for some of the lesser teams, he's one of the top 32 left tackles in football right now.
Absolutely. He can start for half the teams in the league right now.
Yeah, I'm not going half. But I'll go at least a handful of teams that he could start for. Have the Eagles mishandled that, in your opinion?
No, I think they're so comfortable with Jordan Mailata's ability to go to the right side. If Lane goes down, they will be very confident that, because that's the way they raised Jordan, throughout this time with the Eagles, him being able to be ambidextrous as far as playing on the right and left side. He does both of them pretty good. So they wouldn't have a problem pushing him over there and placing Dillard in at the tackle position. I think, it's not really the Eagles. I think Dillard probably missed the ball by not going out and becoming a better, more versatile player. He could have helped himself out a lot. I linked in my career 6 years with my ability to go from left guard, right guard, tackle, left tackle. I started my career off starting, 2 years of left tackle, then 2 years of right tackle. Then I went to Detroit, played left tackle for 2 years, went to Green Bay, and that's why I started my progression into becoming more of a multi-dimensional player. I actually played my last 2 years, my last 4 years with the Steelers. I actually played in one game against Cleveland. I played center, guard, and tackle in one game. Damn. So, the versatility will make you a longer career easily if you can play all the positions. So I think he dropped the ball as far as that. But I think his value is still up there at the left tackle position. I think they're going to keep him just because, you see what's going on down in Dallas right now. Tyron Smith, they thought that he kind of strained. Well, they thought he ripped his ACL, but I think he just strained it. That offensive line, that offensive line is in trouble right now. A lot of trouble.
Barrett, I'm glad you mentioned that, how versatile you were. I got to bring this up now because who was the starting? Was it Trey Drake that Strahan just owned?
Yeah,
and,
Troy Drake. Yeah, Troy Drake.
And then I remember they put you in against Green Bay. Oh, by the way, you're facing Reggie White this week. Have some fun.
Right. I mean, we call it Reggie-itis. See, I wasn't even supposed to play the game, and all of a sudden, our starting right tackle, I'm not going to say his name, starting right tackle, all of a sudden got Reggie-itis, So I get a call from Ray Rose, he was, hey, get your ass up. I'm like, what's up, Ray? Get up. You got to go. I said, what you mean I got to go? You starting today. Starter got he got this is what he said. He got Reggie-itis. I'm like, Reggie-itis. I was like, all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I went out there and battled, man. I did the best I could, man. Playing against a Hall of Famer. I had the
pleasure of meeting Gilbert Brown and Santana Dotson at the Hall of Fame. And they were staying in the same hotel room as I was. And I never saw someone talk about Steve Ebert like Gilbert Brown. And I'm like, I got to rewatch this game now. And I'm like, oh, my God, did he own him?
Bro, I mean, it was that defensive line, Santana Dotson, Gilbert Brown. They have Holiday also from North Carolina and Mr. White. You guys can call him Reggie White. I call him Mr. White. And we beat. I remember they came up they played us and we beat them by running the ball. We ran sprint left. We ran the right side, left side, right side. We just kept running stretch plays back and forth until we just tired them out, and that's why we won the game. But I mean, it was tough, man. It was tough, going.
I rewatched that game. In the beginning, it just seemed like they were trying to go inside zone with Ricky Waters. I'm yelling. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop doing this. Who's in the middle there?
Right, the grave digger.
I'm like, well, yeah. And then, why run outside? You got Reggie. You got this. Barrett starting at right tackle. I'll give you guys credit, man. That was a hard fought win.
We battled it. We battled, man. And I can remember, I went back. I actually went back and watched it a couple of days ago because Derek Gunn, D Gunn was trying to talk crazy and make fun. I'm like, bro, if you'd went against Mr. White, you'd have been the same way. But I mean, I was battling, man. In fact, I got some high praise from John Madden. John Madden actually said my name in a positive way. So I mean, I'm out there battling. That's all I could do, man. But
of all the Maddenisms, he had a lot that game, especially with Gilbert Brown. Because I don't know how you block Gilbert Brown. I'm like, no one blocked the grave digger. As soon as I saw him, I was like, grave digger. He goes, yeah, everybody calls me that.
Yeah. I played against him in college also.
I appreciate Jeff taking you back down memory lane of good days. More power to both you guys. But we got to jump back on the Eagles here in 2022. At the most important position, which, of course, is quarterback. Sorry, Mr. Offensive Lineman. It's your job to keep that guy upright and
right.
able to make plays. When last we saw Jalen Hurts in a game that mattered, he was getting roughed up by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not close, not competitive. Oh, the defense got abused too, but Jalen didn't do anything until it was 31-0. They've done everything that they've done in this offseason with Jalen and moves and additions and debates on what the offense is going to look like and what they're going to emphasize. And where are you at with Jalen Hurts? Right now, today, we've got one more preseason game that he's not going to play on. No more joint practices because it got canceled today. So we're still 17 days away from the first kickoff, but not much else is going to happen. The Eagles are going to have practices against themselves. Where is Barrett Brooks with the evaluation of Jalen Hurts? We assume he's going to be better. How much better? How much better does he need to be for the Eagles to get to the level that they want to get to this year? Where you at with Jalen right now, Barrett?
I think I'm kind of the most unpopular guy in the world because I'm totally invested on Jalen simply because they brought him what he needed to become a better passer. We all know that he has the chance. He can run. He can always get himself out of trouble. Those are things that he does best. But what I see now in this offense is a trust factor, and this is why he's going to grip it and rip it. This is why he's going to go out there and hose the ball around and be a better passer. It's trust. Trust. Mark my words. It's trust. He trusts A.J. Brown. He trusts Smitty. When you trust guys, he trusts that he can get the ball to Dallas Goedert. Trust factor is there. And when I say trust, you look at A.J. Brown. He doesn't have a huge catch radius, but he has a more forgiving catch radius. Because he's so, strong and diesel, he's able to go out and kind of Debo the ball from receiver. So it's not a 50-50 ball like you usually say. It's a 70-30 ball, knowing that his strong hands and his ability to shield off defenders, is going to work in his favor. You've seen it all through camp. You see it in the game. You see it in the practices. You see his ability to go out there and out-muscle guys. So Jalen Hurts trusts him, so he's going to let it rip. He did not trust Jalen Reagor last year. He didn't trust throwing it to guys like that. I mean, he was throwing to a rookie Smitty. He almost had 1,000 yards. So, I mean, he didn't have that trust factor like he has now. He will trust throwing the ball to those guys that they can go make a play. He's going to trust Smith in the aspect that, all right, with his route running, he's going to be open. So, you can get the ball to him because he creates separation in his routes. So he trusts getting the ball to him because he's going to see that separation. I mean, guys were all tangled up on guys last year. Nobody can get open. Smitty's going to be open. So he's going to be able to trust to get them. And that's the biggest thing. They trust each other to go out and make plays. So anytime you have a young quarterback and you have a good tight end, that usually becomes his best friend. So he's going to trust going to Dallas Goedert. And also he has the ability to trust the run game and his offensive line. So because of that, I think he's going to be – I know he's going to be a way better quarterback than he was. A more confident quarterback brings confident numbers, brings confidence in him with the team. It just makes you a better team. They're going to trust that Jalen Hurts is going to make that progression into being a starting quarterback in the league, a game-winning quarterback. And now he won't have the numbers that'll blow you away. Like, he's not going to have 5,000 yards or anything like that. But he'll have the things that you need, and that's W's in the win column. Because if you stop his passing, he can run. If you try to go out there and defend his run, he has now weapons good enough to go out there and make plays on the outside and even in the interior. So when you can trust the offensive coordinator to put your business to make plays, and his ability to go out there and trust the players he's throwing to, and knowing that he can always tuck it and run if he wants to, that's a confident quarterback you're going to have going into these games, man. And when you're confident, there's really nothing you can't do, bro.
Barrett, how much are we underselling the fact that Devonta Smith's going to be facing number 2 cornerbacks all year?
Exactly. I mean, when you have – last year he had the best cornerbacks and was still able to get almost 1,000 yards. He will have a number 2 quarterback now. A cornerback guarding him now. He's already a problem for number 1s. And, oh, by the way, I'm through with this notion of, A.J. Brown being 1 and Smitty being the second best. I mean, if you look at it now, I'll go 1A, 1B. And you can pick which one you want at 1A and 1B, because there are going to be some defensive coordinators will see the explosiveness of Smitty and will choose to bracket him or turn coverage to him because he's so elusive in his route running. He can break free at any time. We forget this kid had his senior year, won the Heisman, had over 1,800 yards, over 20 touchdowns by himself, not even including the year before that. Smitty is a good bona fide number 1. They didn't draft him number 10 in the draft for nothing. So, yes, they have 2 number 1s out there. So you cannot downplay, that aspect of it. So as a defensive coordinator, pick your poison. Are you going to stop the run? Are you going to stop the pass? Are you going to stop this guy over here? Are you going to stop that guy over there? I mean, what do you do as a defensive coordinator? And I think that's what's going to make these guys so big. They're going to trust each other to go out there and make plays.
I'll add on to this, Barrett. I honestly think they traded for A.J. Brown, not to sell Smitty out, but I think it's to create the ultimate mismatch on Trayvon Diggs, because we saw last year when he faced the big receivers, he did not fare well.
Well, he had 10 interceptions. He guessed right 10 times. But you can't get past the fact that he had over 1,100 yards thrown on him throughout the season. Yes, he picked right 10 times, 11 times. But he picked wrong a lot more times than he picked right. I mean, he was a sieve as far as, letting guys, break free on him and catch touchdowns on him. He had a lot of interceptions, but he had a lot of yards thrown on him. And I think that matchup with him and Brown, that's going to be, must-watch TV. Get your popcorn ready, because I can't wait to watch this.
You know who's going to eat? Devonta Smith.
Yeah, absolutely. So who's going to cover him? What DB is going to cover him? When I look at their roster, everybody's talking about, how good they are. And, because at the quarterback position, they do have the number 1 quarterback in the division. But when I look at guys out there trying to go, all right, you going to put Jordan Lewis on them? You're going to put Anthony Brown on them? Anthony Brown's pretty good, but he's not to the level that Smith is going to be as far as route running. He's just not there yet. So Trayvon Diggs is on Brown. That means the guys – now you're going to have Leighton Vander Esch trying to cover Dallas Goedert.
Good luck.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, not
I like this matchup all
They're
day.
not deep in Dallas. They're
No,
top.
no, exactly. I mean, all right, you gonna put Curse on him. Curse is just too small to cover him, and he can't cover. He's a box safety. He cannot cover Dallas Goedert in the middle of the field. So we're a matchup nightmare against this Dallas team.
Oh, and you got Quez Watkins too. I think he's gonna make a
play.
Oh,
don't forget about, he says he's faster than the cheetah, so we'll see. I thought we were gonna be able to see that.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see.
Whoa. You didn't just say he's faster than the cheetah.
He said so.
Did you watch
We're not saying
practice?
Yes, I did.
Yes, torched the Philadelphia Eagles. I think you may want to roll that one back, Barrett.
I'll say this. No one's faster than the cheetah. I'm sorry. Not even Devin Allen. No one's faster than the cheetah.
No, nobody is. And it's not like he's just fast, though. But he's thick. He's athletic. He is huge, man. He is a thick-bodied receiver, bro. So to me, he reminds me a lot of his way his body makeup is of Sterling Sharp, a thick guy that can run routes now. I mean, the worst thing that this league did was force the cheetah to learn how to run all the routes instead of just running the go right that he had years before. Last year they had to go at Big Red had to say, all right, we can't run these deep balls anymore. Now we have to throw underneath to him, and he figured out that he can run slants, comebacks, and drag routes, and to get the ball to him in stride. He just turned his game into another level, man. He's able to run past coverage and one-on-one outside. I mean, you can't do that to him. So, I mean, he learned more from last year on how teams try to stop him, and he reinvented himself to run routes better. It's the best thing he could have done for himself, and Big Red knew he was doing it.
He had such a good year last year. They're like, he's not beating people 40 yards. I'm like, you don't have to anymore.
Exactly. He learned a lot from
the hitches and going.
Yep.
Yeah, he caught the ball against the Bills underneath.
Yes,
and then Russ just ran right by everybody. So it could be in the air or it can be with his legs. He's going to find ways to get
while at it.
Absolutely. Throw the deuces. Let's go.
And it happened. Happened in yesterday's practice. No, you saw the tapes, Barrett.
Yes.
Should we have concern about the Eagles secondary? We'll just go wide screen here. Secondary. We know if Slay and Bradbury and Maddox are all healthy and stay that way for all 17 games, the Eagles should be good in the defensive backfield, even if the safety position isn't great. Their corners are that good. But there's always the possibility of injury, and Slay got hurt yesterday after he got burnt by the cheetah. Do you like the defensive backups on this Eagle team right now?
Well, I have been talking about Zach McPherson, all camp. I thought he had a great camp this year. He was playing well. He's the next man up as far as cornerbacks. Josh Jobe is also a guy that they're very high on, the kid from Alabama, rookie from Alabama. I think those guys are feasible. And when you get into the slot position, you got Josiah Scott. They like him playing, right in there at the slot position and also playing safety, that rover safety that might have to go out there and cover a wide receiver or a tight end or running back out of the backfield. It wouldn't be the most optimal matchup, but they're very confident in those three guys. After that, it gets kind of slim. They like what they saw from Kayvon Wallace, during this time. I mean, Kayvon had a pretty good game last week. They like what he did in practices last week. That's the first time he showed something all camp. When I watched him when we were at home, and in the practices while we were at home, I didn't like what I saw from him. I thought he was kind of lax in how he approached the game. He didn't do all the drills. And I'm a firm believer what you do in drills is gonna be what you're gonna see when you're practicing 11 on 11 or when you're in a game type situation. What you see in practice, it ultimately folds over and flows over into what you do in games. And I thought he had a half-ass effort, going into practice. So that's what he got in the game. Well, I saw him pick it up a little bit these last practices against Cleveland, and it flowed over to the game. He had a much better game than he had last time. He started to show up. But, that's also because other guys started showing up. I mean, Reed Blankenship, say what you want to say, but he's shown flashes. I mean, he's going to be on the practice squad, but I don't think they'll have a problem with bringing him up if one of those guys got hurt. Tart didn't show me anything. He still hasn't shown me anything. He showed me a little bit in the game, but I need to see more from him. He's on the team for a reason. Right, that's what I'm saying. So why is he not? He's been a starter his entire career. Why is he not starting right now? Well, I saw why he's not a starter. He is basically a will linebacker, and I hate talking, about people like that, because, until you show me different, I'm just going by what I see on the field. He's more suited to be that box safety that's going to be almost like a linebacker, cover around the line of scrimmage. You blitz him when you need to blitz him. He may be able to go out there and cover a tight end. He's just not a cover guy anymore, or has he ever been. He just can't cover, and he'll become a liability in coverage if we keep him out there. So unless he shows me something this next game, I don't know if we don't put Howie in a position where he's got to go out and find a starter. They're okay with Harris, and Harris can come in and play in the box and be that guy. But I think they want a starter opposite of Epps. And if these guys don't do anything in this game, they're going to have to go out there and spend resources to get a quality safety in this box. Because I mean, they're going to win. They're not trying to just win a division. They're trying to win it all. Say what you want to say. This team is trying to make it to not just the playoffs, but the Super Bowl. They want a Super Bowl winning roster, and I think they're close. If they go out and fill a couple little holes, like somebody opposite of Epps at the safety position, and they keep on being confident in this offense, being able to go out there and control the clock.
All right, Barrett, then the way you're talking, this should be an easy question. Yeah. And I've put it to everybody who's been on the last couple of weeks. There's some really tangible fear of the Detroit Lions in this town with some people. I have none. Zero fear of the Detroit Lions. So, watch out. You're watching Hard Knocks. Dan Campbell's a motivator. First game of the season, they don't know how bad they're going to be. Aiden Hutchinson's the real deal. I have no fear of the Eagles, of the Eagles playing the Lions. I think they're going to win by double digits, maybe more than 2 touchdowns. 44-6 last year. Eagles went on the road last year, first Sirianni game. Got to win against the Falcons. I say you can put it in the W column right now. Maybe I'm a little overly biased here. Maybe I'm a little cocky. Where does Barrett Brooks fall on this opening matchup versus the Detroit Lions?
Right. Well, here it is then. Jody, I'm on the same boat as you are. Yes, Hard Knocks makes
send it in. Send it in.
Don't miss you, Staley, Jody. That's all I'm telling.
Stop with was Deuce the coach of the Lions last year? Was he their running back coach when Eagles beat him 44-6? Did I miss something? Yeah. Did he miss that week? Did he have monkeypox? I didn't think he missed the game last year against the Eagles. I think he was there. I think it was 44-6.
And I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't like their Aaron Glenn as the defensive coordinator. I think that's one of the things that have pushed me to believe that the Eagles are going to beat them pretty well. They don't have enough pieces also to compete. They have some good players: DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams. They can run the ball pretty effectively.
I'm just gonna say that they're deep at receiver.
Yeah, and they have guys that can make plays like. St. Brown is a monster.
Stud.
He's a monster. So
you too.
And DJ Clark is pretty good. But I mean, with our secondary, I think we'll match up with them tit for tat. The biggest thing is I don't think that their defense will be able to hold up to the Eagles' offense. There's still a lot of players away. They have some players. Aiden Hutchinson, his first game, he's going against one of the premier pass blockers in the league. This year you can almost write it down and take a picture that Jordan Mailata will be a Pro Bowler. You know what I'm saying? And he'll be going against Aiden Hutchinson, and it's going to be a battle. But I think gravity eventually takes over. We're talking about a 360-pound human being, a 6'8", going against Aiden Hutchinson. How big is Aiden Hutchinson? Let me see.
He's what, 6'4"?
Yeah, he's 6'7".
6'7".
No,
even bigger than
they're past
267.
Right? I've been watching. He ain't 6'7".
He's about 6'5".
Yeah,
he's about 6'5". 6'7". Yeah, I'm just going by what this said. Let me look it up real fast. But either way it goes. He's still going against.
He's gonna have to face Lane too.
Or exactly. So my odds are gonna go with Lane and Jordan Mailata will beat him like he stole something. There's no question about that. We'll beat him like he stole something. It'll be a bad day for him. And at no point do I see him being able to, beat up on those guys. No, he is 6'7". 6'7", 265.
He's listed at 6'7". He's not 6'7". I'm telling
Well,
you.
I mean, of course they're going to flay him. So he's about 6'6".
Maybe I know Jeff watched it, so I got to ask you, Barry. Did you watch the second episode of Hard Knocks?
No, not yet. In fact, I'm probably, since I'm up so early with you guys, I'm probably going to watch it now.
All right. I don't want to completely spoil it on you, but a little bit of a spoiler. They compare him to guys coming out of a boy band for his looks. Maybe if he just pulls his hair up a little bit, which he's got the capability of doing because he does look like he was in a boy band.
Right.
Yeah, then maybe 6'7". If you slap that thing down on the top of his head, there's no way he's 6'7". And Lane will handle him just fine. And
right.
I'm on St. Brown. Nice player, good player. I'll take both of the Eagles wide receivers over the number one Lions wide receiver. The only guy who really scares me a little bit is Hockenson at tight end.
Yeah, well, he's a player.
Need to prove they can actually stop a tight end. They didn't do it well last year, and we do have questions about safety this year. He's the only guy that scares me for week one.
Absolutely. You're right about that, man. I mean, Hockenson is good. He's top notch, and Jared Goff isn't a slouch this year. I think he's going into the mindset that, all right, I have nothing else to lose. I mean, if I got to go out here and prove that I am a number one quarterback in the league, I was the first pick. I got to play like it. So, they're going to be all right, but they don't have what they need to beat up on this Eagles team. And I think the Eagles, beat them, pretty handily.
I think the one thing Detroit has this year that they're going to end up winning more games than a lot of people think is their offensive line. I just think the Eagles match up very well against them.
Yes. I mean, Tyler Decker is great. He's really good. Big V is still holding it down, man.
Big V's a good guard. He is.
Yeah.
Right now he would have been the best center in the league last year if he didn't get hurt.
Exactly. Yep.
Kelsey,
and then, Penei Sewell, first rounder from 2 years ago, he's playing at a high level. Their offensive line is finally, falling into place. I just don't think they have enough against, especially with what they're trying to do, with the defense and being multidimensional in defense. It's and I think this team has finally turned the corner as far as understanding what their role is in that defense. When you're switching back from a two-gap defense to a one-gap defense, you got to play differently. You either get up the field or you got to hold the point. A lot of guys can't do that in between plays, let alone in between, in between series, let alone in between plays. So it's going to be hard for them at first to get, used to that. But I see that defense being a lot better than what they showed this last week this last practice against Miami.
Here's what I'll give the Lions. They won't get a tie this year. If they can turn that tie into a win, they got a big time shot at 4 wins this year. So
no question.
Go get them,
They're winning 6, Jody. They're winning 6.
Okay, I'll take the under 6, and they will be 0-1. I think we're all kind of leaning on that. I don't think it's going to be competitive. Jeff does. Barrett, you and I will enjoy our cocktail after the Eagles first.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure, buddy. Appreciate you coming.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Tell Mr. Ellis and Mr. Gunn we send our regards.
I definitely will, guys. Take it easy.
That is.